NBA teams misevaluating their former players, thinking they'd be better off without them, only to get absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, and humiliated by the stars they wish they still had, not including obvious major all-time great free agents. LeBron James torching the Cavs every time with the Miami Heat, even so playing for the Lakers. Of course, OKC obviously did not want Kevin Durant to walk in free agency, couldn't anticipate their superstar joining the team that beat him, having an average of nearly 32 points, 13 contests versus his former squad. This video does not include stars who demanded out, leaving their former teams no choice but to trade them. Thankfully, Golden State did not give up on Steph Curry too easily when he dealt with those ankle injuries. Imagine Curry being in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform for the last decade. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. On to all the NBA legends giving up on too early from former teams only to destroy them with their new teams, regretful decisions to be endured by those franchises. Starting with Dolph Schayes of the Syracuse Nationals, one of the greatest players for his era, 6'8" power forward from Bronx, New York, dominated at NYU, drafted by his hometown Knicks in the 48 BAA draft, the 4th pick. Also the NBL draft by the Tri-City Blackhawks. Tri-City traded his rights to Syracuse, was offered 50% more than from the Knicks, a costly mistake from New York. Team president Ned Irish cited a league rule that prevented them paying a rookie more than $6,000. After the two leagues merged, the Knicks reached the NBA Finals 3 straight years, failing to win a title. Schayes' rookie season knocked off his hometown squad, averaged over 21 points, best player, would face the Knicks a total 6 times in the playoffs, falling in 51 and 52 before torching them Eastern Division round 1954, 29.5 point, 18.5 rebound average, a 2-0 sweep, won the 55 NBA Finals before beating the Knicks 2 more times in 56 and 59. New York even offered 3 first-stringers in 57, to which the Nationals rejected. Schayes ended up making the All-Star team 5 more times since then, a dozen total, the most prolific scorer in the 50s, the greatest Jewish basketball player the game has seen. Chauncey Billups. Multiple teams absolutely regret giving up on him too early. One of the greats, originally labeled a bust, picked 3rd the 97 draft. First 3 teams he's played for since have won titles: Boston 2008, Toronto 2019, and Denver 2023, but not the Orlando Magic. Traded there from Denver February 2000, never played a single game with the franchise. An injured shoulder ruled him out the rest of the season. Not even given the chance, the Magic made the tragic decision, let him walk in free agency, took his talents to Minnesota, turned his career around. When finally signed with the Pistons, became one of the best leaders of his generation, had his coming out party against his former team. First season, first round series became best of 7, down 3-1 to the 8th seed. Mr. Big Shot responded, a monster 40 points, 7 threes, game 6 on the road, his coming out party, introducing his greatness to the NBA casuals, followed by a 37-point game 7 win, led to the start of 6 straight conference finals berth, won the title the following year, while Orlando ended up having the worst record, 21 wins in 2004, had his regular season high January 6 of 06, 37 against the Magic until broken in 2010. The former Finals MVP dominated Orlando for 2 more postseasons. 2007 1 vs 8 matchup, posted 22.3 points, 7 assists in the sweep, 25 in the closeout, knocked off the Magic again in the 08 semis before Detroit regretfully traded away their franchise point guard. With the Billups Pistons being Orlando's kryptonite, very possible if Chauncey remained in Detroit in 2009, Orlando might not have gotten to the finals. Ben Wallace, also formerly of the Orlando Magic, the most successful undrafted player the league has seen, made strides as a 25-year-old, started all 81 games, numbers of 4.8 points, 8.2 rebounds, 24 minutes played. Since the Magic couldn't pass up the opportunity, landing superstar Grant Hill, Big Ben considered a trade-in piece alongside Chucky Atkins. Considered the most lopsided trade at the time, became lopsided the other way around. Hill became super injury prone. Wallace went on to win 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a championship, the centerpiece, anchoring the greatest defense of the 21st century. A beast in the 3-1 comeback, averaged 11 points, 18 rebounds, over 3 steals and 3 blocks in the series. Injured Grant Hill out for those playoffs. The 3-1 comeback alongside teammate Chauncey Billups, an all-time defensive clinic. His numbers can't tell people who didn't watch him how dominant Big Ben was. The combination of rookie Tayshaun Prince guarding T-Mac with Wallace anchoring the paint proved the Magic had absolutely zero chance. Earned his recognition, making the Hall of Fame later on, being at the peak of his powers, the 0-3 first-round series for a team that had no idea how Wallace controlled games without scoring the ball, one of the many dumb decisions throughout the several decades of the Orlando Not-So-Magic. The Dallas Mavericks getting rid of 30-year-old Steve Nash, dealing with back problems at an age where most point guards start declining. Mark Cuban wanted to build around 25-year-old Nowitzki, didn't want to pay Steve, despite leading the team to the best offense 3 straight years, already being a 2-time All-Star, 53, 57, 60, and 52 wins each of the last 4 seasons. In a super stacked West filled with teams like the Lakers, Spurs, and Kings, after an ugly slow-paced defensive 2004 season, new rules banned hand-checking above the free throw line, opened up the scoring for elite perimeter players. Nash had to figure out how to work around score-first empty stats bad team guys like Antoine Walker and Antoine Jamison, both sharing the same position as Dirk Nowitzki. After a terrible playoff series, outplayed by the more physical Mike Bibby, signed 6 years under D'Antoni's Suns, transformed the 29-win squad to a league-best 62 wins, the most improbable MVP we ever seen. Heading into the 05 season, many didn't even view Nash as a top 30 player. Nash later absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, and humiliated his former team, ripping Dallas's defense to shreds. Pick and roll with Amari, absolutely unstoppable. After up 2-1 in the series, Dallas adjusted their defense to make Nash a scorer, and guess what? Dropped a career-high 48 points Game 4, 20 of 28 from the field, proved his godly efficiency after a 27-17 assist Game 3 outing, despite never averaging over 20 points in any regular season. When he wanted to take over and shoot more, Nash truly proved he can go Steph Curry on you, constantly hunting for mismatches, whether it's Eric Dampier or Dirk guarding him. The Canadian prodigy cooked them anytime he wanted. Easily the best series of his career, a 34-point, 13-rebound, 12-assist Game 5. The closeout Game 6 on the road erased a 16-point third-quarter deficit. An array of offensive moves displayed, got to his sweet spots anytime he wanted, went for an insane 39, 9, and 12, 14 of 24 from the field, drained the flawless game-tying bomb in regulation.
111-108. Nash goes. This is 3 for the tie. Good! Steve Nash again!
One of the first guards to truly expose traditional fives who failed closing out the perimeter, Phoenix Suns Nash absolutely transcended the game that more credit given for. Following regular season, Sunday ABC Classic, March 5th of 2006, an easy 25-point, 11-assist contest, a couple insane circus shots, rooting Adrian Griffin's near-perfect game. Without Amari though, his Suns no match for Dallas that playoffs, but did put up 21, 10 assists, 52, 44, 96 shooting splits, took his former teammate Dirk to 6. 2007, in a heated MVP debate with Nowitzki, ESPN Wednesday night, March 14 game overcame a 15-point fourth-quarter deficit, finished with 32, 8, and 16, led to an unbelievable comeback on the road over the 67-win Mavs, outplaying Nowitzki down the stretch. The game-tying 3 in the fourth ended Dallas' 23-game home win streak. Many believe at the moment Nash deserved the third MVP after that epic performance, arguably didn't win it due to voter fatigue. Goes to show, prime Steve Nash absolutely loved torching his former team, made it look easy. Zach Randolph of the Los Angeles Clippers to the Memphis Grizzlies, once upon a time viewed as a talented but empty stat scorers on that team before turning his image around with the grit and grind Grizz. From 2004 to 2010, Z-Bo being stuck on bad teams, the post-Jail Blazers era, a season and a half of the dysfunctional Knicks, half a season in LA, before being traded for an old washed-up Quentin Richardson. Team wanted to clear space for number 1 pick rookie power forward Blake Griffin. Randolph swept under the rug, viewed as a bad defender. Nobody thought anything of the trade until the 2011 season when Z-Bo absolutely destroyed Tim Duncan in San Antonio round 1. His Grizz and the Lob City Clippers became short-term rivals. LA won 2012 series in 7, including a couple hard fouls, physical plays. Down 0-2 2013. The 6'9" power forward went berserk, averaged nearly 25, 9 rebounds, games 3-6, winning all 4 in convincing fashion, getting under Blake Griffin's skin. The struggling #1 pick held to just 12-5 on 46% shooting those last 4 games. Z-Bo constantly imposed his will on the younger, more athletic Griffin, who was banged up in the series. Randolph continued to impose his grit and grind style of play, leading to double fouls, a little trash talk, picked up some texts, making the Clippers regret trading away a 2010 guy, thinking he'd be a bad influence on Blake before bullying him several years later. Randolph absolutely took it personally after losing his job to a rookie. Goran Dragic, drafted by the Spurs with the 45th pick in 2008 out of Slovenia, but traded right away to the Suns for Malik Harrison, cash, and a second rounder that became Duane Blair. That was supposed to be the Raptors pick, traded to San Antonio for a guy who never played. But little did the Spurs know, Baby Dragon would end up being one of the most underrated players throughout the 2010s, having no idea what was to come, ended in a great situation, backing up Steve Nash by his second season, averaged 8 points, 3 assists, nobody thought anything of that. Being a bench guy, limited minutes, semifinals against the team that got rid of him. Phoenix won the first 2 games with ease, the Dragon producing very little, before an absolute basketball avalanche, having the best quarter of his career. Game 3 proceeded to drop 23 of his 26 points in the 4th, his official coming out party. Many just tuning in for the playoffs never even heard of his name. In a series where many had San Antonio winning due to past success on Phoenix, shredding the Spurs defense to pieces, everybody on San Antonio in disbelief. After a decade of playoff misery was the Spurs, it was the second-year backup who answered the call, leading to one of the most shocking sweeps all time. The Dragon played for 7 different teams, but his greatest single game memory, still Game 3 of the 2010 semis, fresh in every Suns and Spurs fans' minds. Derrick Rose, after not being a good fit with LeBron's Cavs, traded in a 3-team deal involving Rodney Hood to the Jazz, was cut 2 days later. Many thought the 29-year-old was going to be out the league, believed he would never play another NBA game. But of course, none other than Tom Thibodeau's Wolves picked him up 3 weeks later. At the time, considered his very last chance to prove himself. Played well first round 2018 playoffs, signed to a 1-year vet minimum. The 8th game of the season turned back the clock for a super inspiring 50-point masterpiece against the team that got rid of him 8 months prior. Philadelphia 76ers signing Al Horford to a massive contract after 2019 out of all places. Only ended up 1 year to nobody's surprise. Who could have envisioned Big Al taking his talents to his conference rival, having Ben who can't shoot Simmons, and Joel Embiid? Everyone with a logical brain knew spacing would be a disaster from day one, wanting to play a more active playmaking, shooting stretch 4 role, an absolutely terrible fit. After Philly lost sharpshooter JJ Redick to the Pelicans, giving that money to Horford just because he matched up well with Embiid in the past. Big Al's strengths weren't utilized properly. Team wanted him to become something he wasn't the best at. Traded to OKC, then found his way back to Boston for the 22 season. Come 2023, Big Al absolutely shut down the MVP. Held Joel to 3 of 16 shooting when guarding him in Game 7, made the MVP play like MPP. Game 6, Joel 14 points, 4 of 15, guarded by Horford. Through 7 games, Joel held to 82 points, 39% from the field, twice as many turnovers than assists. Big Al with the high defensive IQ, active hands, and super discipline, the reason Boston won the series over Philly. One of the main reasons why his former Sixers still hasn't made it to the conference finals in the Joel Embiid era. Brook Lopez vs Lakers 2019. More than 5 years ago, crazy to believe the 7-footer's career was supposed to be coming to an end until Milwaukee picked him up on a vet minimum, transformed his game completely. $100 million later, still a terrific starting center at age 35. March 19th, against his former squad, dropped 28, 9 rebounds, 3 steals, 4 blocks on 5 threes, an easy home win, making Laker fans question their front office incompetency for getting rid of him. Lopez was open to staying in LA, but the Lakers supposedly didn't have any cap space, to which they signed Rondo, Lance Stevenson, and McGee, one of the worst GM decisions Magic Johnson ever made. Blake Griffin, traded for multiple pieces, sending Tobias Harris and Avery Bradley to the Clippers. Franchise organized a mock jersey retirement, begging Blake to stay until months later, did Griffin dirty trading him, getting caught off guard, making his first return against the Clips in Staples much sweeter. January 12, 2019, poured in everything he had on his former team. A man possessed 44-point masterpiece. While many were quick to mock Blake's tenure as injury-prone, overhyped star with questionable motor, end of 2019 season, it's clear to say Griffin left every ounce of energy on the line, dragging the sorry Pistons before his body completely broke down. Blake Griffin fully deserves his respect. Believe it or not, D'Angelo Russell, while on the Nets, December 18, 2018 home game, put up 22 points, 13 assists, drilled a cold-blooded 3 over Kyle Kuzma, gained supreme confidence, becoming a first-time All-Star, dragged the mediocre Nets team to the playoffs, beat the Lakers in LA again in March, dropped 21 and 13 dimes, now on the trade block again for the same franchise, perhaps many more revenge games to come. Jimmy Butler, whom the Bulls gave up on, thinking they need an upgrade, only downgraded since. Chicago missed the playoffs 6 of the last 7 seasons. After getting Levine, Marketing, and Chris Dunn in return, Jimmy proved himself as a future Hall of Famer and led his team to 2 NBA Finals. How dare the franchise not believe in Butler as the #1 guy on a championship caliber team? While teammate Matt Strus, not a star, destroyed his former Boston team that gave up on him. Both Strus and Jimmy dropped 31, helped Miami capped off a 15-1 run to close the game, clinched the 8th seed. His driving layup with just over 2 minutes left put the Heat up for good, leading to one of the most improbable finals runs we have ever seen. Eliminating his former team allowed him to elevate his game to near Jordan-esque in the coming series. Honorable mentions: Chris Middleton, 23-9 record worst the Pistons since getting rid of him, swept them 2019 playoffs, while CP3 almost beat Houston 2020 bubble before a painful 2-point loss in Game 7, ref by the one and only Scott Foster. Which one of these stars had the greatest revenge performance to the team that gave up on them? Your thoughts on the comments below. More great stuff coming soon. See y'all next time.